Welcome to a Robot Adventures review. So, this is a real review. Come by. Pew pew. Got my Dremel stuff up because I'm making presents. One of my hobbies. Using the Dremel, not making presents. Well, that's also a hobby. I like doing that too. And, you know, there's some needlework stuff and all my paints and shit. After, oh yeah, so kids don't watch this. Parents block this page from your computer. After making this Macross here, I was thinking, well, maybe I should just switch over to Macross because, you know, they actually do transform. But they're a little bit pricey. You know, it's like 40 bucks for this figure or something like that. So it's like maybe I should reconsider. And I was thinking I want to make something. I was thinking about kit bashing. So I was like, well, how much? I was in the shop looking at parts and like, you know, how much does it cost to buy just the hands and how much does, you know, can I make a frame? I was thinking about ripping apart one of my HG figures and then maybe sculpting on top of it to do something like that, but I was like, well, you know, I could use the frames. Name that Gundam right there. And then I saw this RG thing, and I remembered Too Old for Toys or Wiztard said something about an RG, and I don't know what those. I didn't know what those were. You know, I know the HGs, and I've made my my MGs, and I've got my PGs. I made that one of those. You know, I got STDs, and right now I have some VD. But yeah, I was like, what the hell is an RG? And so I checked it out, and it says here, you know, strap a dick on and fuck a midget. Real Grade is a new brand. Is indicated in the real thing, and to slap it and touch it and rub it along your fucking crotch, and use your thumb to tickle your ball sack. And something, but so you can read it anyway. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it a try, you know. And I was like, this was a Zaku, and I was like, I don't have a Zaku. And I was thinking, well, you know, that picture right there. I was thinking, well, that looks really CG. I think that's what he looks like in the cartoon. And I was looking at the box art over here, and it's like, oh, okay, that looks pretty cool. And, but I really didn't expect it to be like that. But, you know, and it only cost me, as you can see right there, like 18 bucks. So I was like, all right, cool. So I got it, and I got home, and I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna check it out, and yeah, it was pretty cool. The manual comes with a nice manual, pretty detailed stuff. Lots of, you know, it's kind of like an MG. And you know, I don't know I haven't read any reviews on this thing, and I was looking. Wow, it comes with a realistic decals and decals. So check dictionary.com and click on pronunciation. And I don't hear it called decals. Yeah, baby. I'm a cowboy. I talk like this. So yeah, I was like, all right, well, you know, is it really gonna be like this? And I had a lot of fun putting this guy together. I haven't put on his decals. I'm just gonna say decals anyway, just because I like the way that sounds. And he's fun. He's looking over to the left there because he's a shifty guy. It's like, hey guys, look over there. What's that thing over there on the left? I thought, wow, you know, I was comparing the legs, you know, to the legs on like an HG figure aren't, you know, that amazing. You know, this is an HG. But, yeah, really not like, holy shit, that's a fucking awesome leg. So, but, you know, let's zoom in there and check out. Like, all those little pieces. And, you know, Wiztard said, you know, you're going to lose some pieces, and thank you for the heads up because, you know, these pieces are really tiny. But that's what makes it really cool. It's got 3 points of articulation here. It's got a toe, this middle part, and the heel. You know, all that's going to be covered up, but it's got like, on the leg, it's got like all these little tiny screw moldings and stuff like that. I was like, wow, that's a lot of attention to detail there. You know, I put on that extra stuff. That's not actually the frame, but let's see if we can get its knee to... Oh, there it goes. Knee to bend. Is it on the knee? So, let's look at the movement in... Oh, let's zoom back a bit. Yeah, it's like, wow, okay, that's a lot of moving parts there, and parts are shifting, and stuff is moving, all underneath the frame. You don't see that. But I thought that was a lot better than, you know, the other HG figures. It's just like at 1/44 scale. I like this knee over here. It's got the foot. Of course, it's got the angle, but this little leg, this little thigh armor moves. And get it in focus. Yeah, it's got really good bend in the knee there. Like, wow, that's pretty nice. It's got his disco heels on. Looks like if there were some goldfish in those heels, I think it wouldn't detract from the figure. I really like this rubber springy stuff. I don't know if all the other Zakus have that, but I think that's really cool. You know, and this part here in the waist doesn't do that, but that part isn't really moving, is it? But yeah, that's on a spring, and you know, it's like, oh, okay, that's a cool feature. I don't know if they had to add that, but I thought it made it all that much cooler. Fingers are moving. You know, you got hands, and you got hands. It comes with hands. He's got a cute little spiky thing on his helmet, and he's fucking green. He's got little flappy shit up here. This little flappy door. And then you got the little dude that sits up inside of him. That's his heart. You know, he's just, you know, for the cost. Yeah, I'm completely picking up the other real grades. Kind of shiny silvery stuff, and shit in my ass, and fucking the monkey. I'm gonna pick up that guy, cause you know it took a while to put all this stuff together, and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. You know, these are like, the spikes are one component, that shell thing is one component, that, you know, it's not just a, you know, I'm probably not gonna get any other line of Gundams, so I'll just probably get the real grade. But yeah, I'm liking them. It's fun. You know, it takes a while to put together, and you know, the parts are so small. For example, on this jetpack here, those little, well, of course the thrusters are, you know, those are, but those little, look at my finger. Look at my finger. Pull my finger. Those little tiny thrusters on top there, those are tiny as fuck. And those are little, you know, things you got to pull out on the legs also. Those little thrusters there, those are little tiny. Look at all the panel lines and shit. I'm thinking it's pretty cool. You know, I'm zooming in there pretty close, but he really looks like he's wearing fucking bell bottoms. And I'm thinking that's the 70s influence, or whenever he was fucking introduced. I don't know how much you're gonna pay to get this guy imported, but you know, a lot of movement in the. Oh shit, that just fell off. And yeah, so he's got a lot of nice movement. Like that knee, you can bend him down, and you can do them all. All these positions here, flying in the his fucking blowjob on. Getting his BJ on. He's got bazookas. Little tiny, you know, plastic lenses for the eyes, and I just put on that one decal because I didn't want to get back into his eye. But yeah, that's a decal. The bazooka's got a little plasticky lens thing in there. Clear, well, too close now. But yeah, it's got a little, you know, clear plastic and as the viewfinder, and so I gotta, you know, I'm not a Gundam expert, as you know, but I gotta say, for me, this was fun and reasonably priced, and yeah, it's cute. You know, I don't know if you can see any of the shit stains on the little spikes because those were fun. Yeah, that, and then that little thing was, you know, rubbing against my ball sash. But yeah, those little spikes are good for the anus, and you know, stretches it out and makes, you know, it's like sensations in different places. So, yeah, pick it up if you can find it. I'm recommending it, but you know, don't listen to me. I'm a dumbass. Talk to you guys later. I'll probably, maybe I'll make another one if you guys ask, with all the decals on them. But anyway, come by, bye.